If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Take a look what happened.
Key thing is the luck of Donald Trump here, that a slight movement to one side has allowed effectively a headshot to miss and just take the ear. Quite incredible piece of video to look at. He was millimeters from certain death. I mean, any shot to the head is likely to be fatal. This clearly was aimed pretty well central to his head, and the slight movement at that exact time allowed him to survive. Yeah, it's amazing how history changes by a fraction of a millimeter, effectively, because if that bullet had gone any closer, it would have certainly done him serious damage. Certainly wouldn't have allowed him to run for the presidency, I wouldn't have thought, because of the injuries. The implications of that would have been huge across the US and across the world. Yeah, I'm afraid in the US there's an awful lot of people who are very good with guns. I mean, the fact that he had a headshot at that range just means that Trump was extremely lucky here. Any person that takes a headshot is going to die, and on this occasion he was extremely lucky. The simple fact is this: there is a huge guns issue in the US. They've got to work much harder to protect their VIPs from long distance shooting. This is it was quite incredible, the security lapses. I mean, there were so many of them, from actually not securing the outer perimeter right through to allowing a person to get in with a gun in the first place, and not a handgun, which could easily be hidden, but a rifle. Then for that person to be allowed to get up onto a roof, which is quite incredible, with an easy open view shot at President Trump. But there are simple ways that could have resolved this very quickly anyway. That whether it was someone on the ground dealing with him, or actually the snipers on the roof should have been warning the team that were looking after him to get Trump off the stage. All of these things seem to fail, and even when the team went in to try to take him off the stage, that was very slow, ill-considered, and not well dealt with. I can imagine Donald Trump is a very difficult man to secure. Everyone knows his personality. Very difficult man to secure. But in circumstances like that, you see, he's just thinking that he's got away with it. Whereas the security team should be thinking, well, that was one threat. There may well be another threat, somewhere else, and just to get him out of there as quick as possible and to hospital or to safety. They were unable to move him very quickly. As I said, perhaps that's to some extent just Donald Trump's way of acting, and that makes life difficult for any security team. Well, I mean, it was a complete disaster. The whole security thing was completely messed up. Now, the one thing about the US that I would say that we don't have so much over here is different authorities. So you'll have the sheriff, you'll have the region state police, then you'll have the FBI, then you'll have the president's security team. How they all talk together is really key, and how they work together. Quite often I remember, many times when they weren't even able to communicate on the same radio system. So, whether the local police that were supposed to be securing the outer, the cordons effectively, whether they were actually linked well into the rest of the team, I don't know. And this is something that they really need to have a look at, because they do like these big open air set piece events, and of course set piece events are an ideal opportunity for any would-be terrorist or assassin. But what you do is you choose the highest point with the best view, and that's where the FBI snipers, whoever they were located there. So they had a 360 view of everything, so they can see anyone that's getting access to a fireable position. Their job is not necessarily to shoot them, because it could be anyone. It could be a fan going out there with a flag or something. But their job is to let the principal's team know, and the other team know, to get the principal out of the way so that he doesn't get shot. Now, there's obviously some kind of a breakdown in communication. What should have happened, obviously, is that area where the guy got up onto the roof, that should have been secured. Not necessarily the roof, but secured so people can't climb up onto the roof. Anyone walking around with a gun. I mean, the thing is, we're not the US. We don't have the same gun laws. We don't have the same desire to walk around with guns that they have. So, seeing someone with a gun is not abnormal in the US. In the UK or in Europe, that would be really odd and would have been dealt with. But so there's all sorts of issues at play here. I also think there's an issue with the fact that there are so many of these events flitting around, so they got the two would-be presidents going around at different locations. So the security service details have got to be everywhere, and they have got lots of resources, but they've got to pre-visit all these locations. They've then got to work with the local police to set up a security system. So something's clearly gone wrong here, and that's what they need to get their heads around. I've been involved in enough events to know that, you know, people do make mistakes and cock-ups, and, you know, some are better than others at security. We don't know the resources that were available. I mean, there's so much we don't know until that whatever inquiry takes place, we won't know. But what I would say is that something really went amiss. You know, the whole perimeter security clearly wasn't good, or you wouldn't let someone in with a sniper rifle. The fact that the snipers were on the roof, the counter snipers were on the roof, should have seen him. You know, there were a number of people that I've seen that were warning of this guy climbing up on the roof with a gun, and the local police or whoever it was, it may have been security guards, I don't know, didn't react to that well enough. You know, all of these things, but also you have to play into the fact that I think Trump probably is not the sort of person that you can easily say you're not going on today, you know, there's a security concern. I think he may over. So I don't know until you know exactly the full details of why he wasn't pulled off the stage earlier, or why the snipers chose not to take the shot earlier, or why the perimeter security allowed someone in with a gun. I mean, all, you know, sod's law happens, but this was a real security calamity.